everybody, Brittality here to bring you Pixels and Pints, where I pair a beer with the topic of video game conversation. As you saw in today's title, today is going to be a little bit different. In celebration of Back to the Future Day, I put on my shirt and decided to talk about the Back to the Future movie here, which it kind of counts because there is a video game out now that's Back to the Future. Maybe we'll play it in the future. I don't know. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments below. But today we are going to be discussing the movie and 5 reasons why I love Back to the Future so much. Namely, I love Back to the Future 2 the most, so we're going to go over some things about that, but we will also have some things that incorporates the series as a whole. But before we get into that, we need to talk about today's beer. It is Pixels and Pints after all, right? So, since Doc Brown is a character in Back to the Future, I decided that we should have a brown ale today. Today's beer will be the Brown Note from Against the Grain Brewery. The tagline for this beer from the brewery is that it is so good it will make you shit yourself. Now, another thing that's going to be different is that I have usually tried the beers that I feature here so I can give you guys a good recommendation, but for the first time, this is a beer I've never tried before. We will be tasting it for the first time here. You will see my reactions and if I think it's good or not. Now, I snagged the beer because of its name, of course. It's fun and hilarious. Am I a little scared to taste this beer? You bet your pants I am, but we're gonna do it anyway. It did get a 86 on Beer Advocate, so that's pretty decent. Now we're gonna pour this beer into a glass because when I'm at home, I love to be a beer snob, and that's what beer snobs do. When I'm out and about and at a gathering or whatever, I don't care to drink out of a can or glass. But today we're gonna be pouring it into a glass. This releases the aroma of the beer, but it also lets you see the color of the beer, and it being a new beer and with the name that it has, I definitely want to be able to see the color of it and make sure that I'm drinking beer and not something else. Alright guys, so moment of truth, here we go. This is, as you can see, a really dark brown color. It has a little hint of red in it, just a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. But this is a brown ale. We're going to be trying it now. Am I scared and am I stalling? Yes. So, without further delay, let's get into this. I'm so nervous. Okay. It's not the best brown ale I've had. It's got a little bit of a coffee taste to it, which I did not expect, especially with the name. It lingers just for a little bit. Light carbonation in it, not a lot of carbonation, which is nice. It's a good taste. Would I go out of my way to buy this again? Probably not, but I would be willing to take it to a shindig and let other people try it. I mean, the name alone makes me want to buy the beer, obviously. But overall, excuse me, overall decent beer. It's okay brown ale, it's okay. So without further delay, let's get into today's topic. Back to the Future, 5 reasons why I love it. This video really grabbed me as a kid. Let me change that verbiage. It grabbed my attention as a kid. First of all, the story of Back to the Future is amazing. We've got these 2 oddball characters, Marty McFly and Doc Brown, that you wouldn't really expect to be together, but they balance each other very well. There's also a really good balance of spurts of comedy and then actual thrill to the story. You don't know what's going to happen next. Is he going to save everything? Is everything going to be okay? It's really cool to see Hill Valley also featured. Hill Valley was kind of a character in itself, right? You got to see its evolution throughout the different time periods. So that was really cool to see. You know, you could pick out things in the universe. You're like, oh, there's the clock tower. Oh, there's this, there's that. With whoever you were watching the movie with, which at the time was my mom. My mom spurred my love of movies. I love my mom. I love movies. Cheers to that. And even though this was a sci-fi movie, a lot of sci-fi movies now, you'll see they have like a lot of jargon and confusing wordage and stuff in there. But this one was pretty simple and easy to understand. It wasn't very complex, especially to me as a youngster. I understood what was going on. How did he fuel the DeLorean? I'll just put some trash in it. There were also a lot of iconic things you could pick out of the movie, and especially as a collector, which I don't have any movie memorabilia. I would like to start a collection of that. But any collector would appreciate, and that anyone can notice out of the film that it belonged to Back to the Future. So things like the flux capacitor was a big one. The clock tower, Hill Valley. Anytime you see, there's a lot of t-shirts that say Hill Valley, you know, that's Back to the Future. Of course, the DeLorean, the freaking Pepsi bottles, they're coming out with those now for the 30th anniversary. The almanac, Marty's vest, there's tons of things. Oh, and the hoverboard. Oh, and speaking of the hoverboard, this is something that really stood out to me as a kid, the hoverboard, and why I love Back to the Future 2 so much, because it was something, I watched it as a kid, so it was something I was familiar with as a kid. Mattel, I saw Mattel, and they took something that I knew and made it all techie and futuristic, and I was like, oh my God. That was something every kid would have loved to have. And you know, everyone predicts, they had flying cars, everyone predicts that they're gonna have flying cars, but to have hovering toys and to actually see that in action, so to speak, was awesome. Then Biff and his crew come in and drop their hoverboards, and that was like a oh my God moment right there. And you know, I see that the hoverboard actually stuck with other people as well, because they're actually still trying to make the hoverboard a real thing. And while we're on the subject of technology, Back to the Future 2 had so many really cool techie things that stood out. They were really simple, maybe you only saw them for a glimpse, but it was something that when you were watching, you're like, oh man, that's really cool. So the self-drying jacket, amazing. And would I like to have it now? Yes. The Air Mags that were self-laced and you had the lights in them. I think Nike actually put out a limited edition of these, but they were like $4,000, so that's a little too steep for me. The Jaws, I think it was Jaws 19 hologram that came out of the movie theater and chomped down on him. That was awesome. The little mini pizza that they put in the microwave for like 5 seconds and it became a real pizza. That's a dream of mine. I think that should happen. We should work on that. Forget the hoverboard. Let's work on that first. There were so many things in that movie that just really gave me an awe moment, and it was just really awesome to see. Last but not least, this movie stands the test of time without a doubt. For anyone that hasn't watched Back to the Future, this is an experience that I love to share with them, because I love to see their face when cool things happen. And if they don't like it, then they're dead to me, and I question our friendship. If they're family members, then they are definitely adopted. And all in all, this movie comes with a great message. Like Doc Brown says, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. And it also says, don't live in the past, because if you do, your mom will want to bang you. Back to the Future has had a great impact on pop culture today, and it will continue to influence people and ideas for the future. Did you guys love this movie as much as I did? I got a gas bubble, hang on. Did you guys love the movie as much as I did? Or am I just crazy? The second question is probably true, but did you love the movie anyway? Just let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, game responsibly and drink on. We will see you guys next time.